welcome back to another video. Today we're here at Okayama Raceway and the Porsche GT3 class here. As we get ready to go green flag racing, we're going to go into turn 1 as we're side by side here with the Acura, and up ahead we have another incident right off the bat, the first lap incident. Mustangs collide each other and we gain a place. The green and black Mustang here comes out of the gravel. He's going to be a little bit squirrely out of here, so he goes ahead and slides in, but the Porsche has an opportunity to go up the inside and they make a little bit of contact there. Luckily they survive, but we're going to go 3 wide with the Lambo on the left, Mustang on the right, and then the Ferrari comes up the spot as we're getting shuffled down the pack here, and the Mustang's going to take advantage of it. So we got to slip into the slipstream, make sure we get enough to keep this position as we defend into the next corner. We brake as late as we can as we still have cold tires. We're going to try hanging around the outside, but there's some gravel on the track as somebody's gone off. And we have a little bit of a netcode issue with the Mustang, and the Mustang unfortunately gets spun around. So today I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about what's coming up here in the next week. We have the Season 4 update, which rolls out for Season 13, which is now, and is going to be continuing for the remainder of the course of iRacing, unless there's some major issues with it. But I just wanted to talk about some things that I'm excited about, and some things that I am hoping to see with iRacing that will hopefully be improved. Obviously, the main thing is the UI, the Sim UI. I think this is going to be a really good thing, and it needed to be refreshed because it is stinking old. But I'm glad that they're trying to make the UI a bit easier and friendlier to use and easier to look at. The main thing is I really don't like using third-party applications for the information that the sim already provides, and that's the main reason why the third-party services are so important, basically. So on the screen currently I have the top left, which is the standings. It shows the top 3, it shows the gaps, fastest lap, last lap, and then basically a mini relative as well. It also shows the splits, the amount of drivers, and that's just with the free version of Race Labs, which is what I use. If I did the paid version of Race Labs, I could have so much more information, like track time, some other things too, like the track temperature, weather reports, stuff like that. But in my opinion, I shouldn't have to buy those things, especially if that information is already provided in the sim. It's just not provided while you're driving. So I think that would be nice to see, and I haven't actually gone into the sim. This is the first time I've been able to sit down here this week, but I think this would be super helpful to use in the new UI, so that way third-party applications are not as necessary, especially for content creators. Now, I don't think this is going to get rid of third-party applications. I think that Racing Labs is helpful to use in some points, so we'll see what kind of information is there when I get a chance to look into it and customize what I can see or not. But the main thing is you're still going to have to probably use Race Labs and third-party applications, but I don't think they're going to. I would like to see them not be as needed as they currently are for sim information. Now, the next couple of things that I would love to see is the evaluation of the rebalance of GT3 cars. So we're getting the addition of the Aston Martin Vantage GT3 Evo, which I think is great. It goes along with the GT4 class, and then you can kind of move up to the GT3 once you're done racing with the GT4s. So basically, the rebalance I think is needed for GT3s because, especially in the top split of GT3, it's normally one set of cars. This couple last weeks for GT3 class, it's been basically about the Mustang. The Mustang at the end of this season specifically in Silverstone and the Nürburgring, I think, as well. I didn't personally race those besides Silverstone, but the Mustang was super strong, and we kind of saw that too at the beginning of the season at Daytona, where the Acura was just ginormously faster than any other car because of the straight line speed. Now, I understand that certain cars have certain characteristics which helps or, you know, has an advantage or disadvantage at certain tracks. I get that. That's kind of what certain tracks are too. But at top splits, I feel like if there's the right driver, the right car, you know, they practice with a certain car, I feel like they should be just as fast as the quote-unquote top split car. Now, with the GT3 Aston Martin, I don't think it's going to be the quickest. I do think that it's going to be up there with the Mustang and the Merc and sometimes the McLaren, but I don't think it's going to be a top split car. The other major thing that I think a rebalancing would be good for is the amount of people that do iRacing, but they don't have enough money to pay for everything. And you know, the subscription alone, you're kind of getting it at a good time because there's normally a sale happening at the end of the season, so you're getting it for like 30-40% off. But most people do this at, you know, the 1 month or 3 month subscription, but they don't always have the time or they don't have the money to upgrade to these cars, so that they're stuck in, you know, the beginning classes, so they don't have the opportunity to gain the I rating and the safety rating in order to move up because they have to buy cars. I think if it wasn't at the moment, I'm not saying it's pay to win, but at the moment for the top split fields and splits, I feel like sometimes it's pay to win. That's just my opinion, but I could be totally wrong and I could be speaking out my butt. But anyways, I think that would be a really good thing to see maybe in Season 5 or Season 6, a rebalancing of these cars so that way the fields are a little bit closer. And with the addition of the GT3 regions that they're going to be adding, so you're going to have the regular GT3, then you're going to have the America, Asian, and European GT3 classes. So that could totally change what I'm talking about, where the top split's totally even. But at the moment, I think that a rebalancing would be really good for the GT3 class and help those that don't have the money to buy certain cars if they really want to perform well. Another thing that is happening and is being added is the Mustang GT4. Now, we had the GT3 version, which is really popular and really fast, as we just talked about. So the addition of the GT4 car, I was really hoping for the Dark Horse. The Dark Horse would have been nice, but we're getting stuck with the GT4, which is fine. I do think that this is going to be another quick car. I don't think that it's going to be majorly fast to where it's a top split car, because I still think that's going to be like the Porsche and the Merc, and then sometimes the McLaren too. So in the GT4 class, I think that it's going to be helpful to have the variety that the GT3 class has. The GT class has 11 cars, where the GT4 class has, I think, 5 or 6, if I count correctly. But the addition of the Mustang, it's a very popular car, and I think that it's going to be used widely. I haven't had a chance to try it out yet, but I'm looking forward to trying it out and making a video on it. Along with the GT4 class is the addition of the changed in tire models. So it's receiving a multi-faced performance, tires, and physics overhaul, just like we had at the beginning of Season 3 with the GT3s. We had a chance to get used to the GT3s, and I think it's been an improvement from the previous edition of the tire model, and I think it's going to change the GT4 class drastically, especially with the cold tires. Currently with the GT4s, you can kind of just throw the car around straight out the pits, which is kind of how it used to be. but you can hold a slide and not die. With the GT4s, I definitely think for the first like 2 or 3 laps when those tires are getting warm, that it's going to change a lot in car control, and not pushing as much on the opening laps is going to be very important, and how your race is going to unfold and your success with that. Along with this, the hybrid system cars are being updated with the improved realism. I don't really drive hybrid classes that much. Sometimes I dabble with the Formula car and the LMP. I don't think the LP2s have it, but you know, I have a GTP. I haven't raced it, but you know, those that do race it, hopefully that's an improvement on the current system, and we get some more races with that, especially with IMSA. IMSA series is nice, and having more people drive the GTPs because the hybrid system is good. That's all the best. So the next couple of things that they're adding are tracks. Now the Mexico City Autodrome, I'm not going to pronounce the Spanish name because I'm going to mess it up, but this track in Mexico City, they're getting added. The Soma Raceway, Worldwide Technology Raceway, Charlotte Motor Speedway, and North Wilkesboro, if I'm saying the right, Speedway. They've all been rescanned and remodeled, which is fantastic. The 6 additional tracks have been overhauled with new artwork, including 5 of the NASCAR schedule. Again, don't race NASCAR that much, but it's good that they're finishing up that rescan that they are doing over the past couple of seasons. And Olton Park, which is another fantastic track, and it's pretty old, is getting a remodel with its new artwork. Some additional tracks that are getting overhauled and modernized: the Chicago Street Course, the Circuit of Americas, Daytona International Speedway, Texas Motor Speedway, Watkins Glen International, and of course Olton Park. So some of the remodeling and overhaul, that's going to be, you know, the new trees that they're talking about, the walls on the side of the track, they're going to be repainted with updated sponsorships and stuff like that. The curbs are going to change, so they could be higher or lower, you know, more sausage curbs, different paint styles. So the ones that we're kind of used to with Daytona or Watkins Glen, those are going to change. So that's going to be a really nice eye-popping thing, and I think it's going to just make older tracks look better. So the next thing with the single-player stuff, the iRacing, all the cars are going to be available, all the new cars are going to be available to race with the AI. So the Aston Martin GT3, the Ford Mustang GT4, and the Gen 4 class cars, they're all going to be able to be raced against in single player mode against the AI, which is nice. The other thing that I did not mention while we were talking about the cars, but another addition is the Delora IL15, which is the Indy Next series car. It's kind of similar to the the F2 cars. They're going to be a lot quicker than the Formula 3 and Formula 4 cars, but I think it's going to be a nice introduction to the IndyCar series, basically. So you can kind of jump pretty drastically to the IndyCar, and there's no in between for that series. So at least for the Formula series, so you can do the Formula 3, the Formula 4, the Formula 3, and then you can kind of jump into the IndyCar from what I know. So having this mid-series here is going to be very helpful to get introduced into the kind of power and the feeling of the Delora IndyCar, and you get to experience the push-to-pass system too. So I think this is a really nice addition for the Formula series. I'm going to be enjoying this car too, because I do like racing the F2 cars in F1 25. I have previously in 24 too, but basically this is going to be a very nice introduction into the IndyCar series, and adds another option for those that want to do the IndyCar series, even though it's not as popular. I think this, with the new edition, is obviously going to be popular in the first couple of weeks. So hopefully that can continue, and we'll see how it feels. It is rain ready. All the cars that are being added, they're all rain ready. So that'll also be nice to use in places that are wet, like the Rainmaster or anything like that, it's going to be nice to race those in the rain, basically. So that's another cool addition. So basically, that's kind of what I'm hoping for in the next season. I don't know if any of this stuff is going to be right or looked at, but I do think that this is going to be a fun season, and it's going to have a lot of variety. The first couple of weeks, like week 13 and then probably the first or second week of the new season, it's going to be the new cars. It's kind of how it is when new stuff's added. People want to try it out. I'm going to be one of those people, but I might continue to use it. I only have one GT4 car, which is the Aston Martin, and having the Ford Mustang in there, I like driving the Ford in GT3, and then vice versa. I like driving the Mustang or the Aston Martin in the GT4. So being able to reverse that, in my case, is going to be fun to experience and utilize. So I can drive the GT4 Mustang and then hop into the GT3 Mustang when there's a race and kind of feel the difference in the power and the downforce levels, which is pretty cool in my opinion. Same thing with the Aston. I'm looking forward to driving the Aston. Personally, I'm a big fan of the GT4 Aston Martin, as you saw in a previous video at VIR. So having the GT3 car in there is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm going to try it out for the first couple of weeks. If it turns out to be super slow, then we'll change it up, and it's going to be what we talked about earlier in the video. It's going to be top split cars only, which is going to be the Mustang. So we'll see how that goes. But jumping back into the race here, as I haven't mentioned anything, but I'm hoping you're enjoying the video so far. If you have, go ahead and leave a like, leave a comment, go ahead and subscribe. Let me know how I'm doing and where I can improve, as I'm still first time creating content, so we'll see how this progress goes. But jumping on to the end of lap 20 here, we're in P23 fighting with Nicholas, as we both have pitted. Actually at the beginning of this lap, we both pitted here, and we're fighting for the top 20 positions, as looks like we've been overcut for 2 positions, as Felipe and Brandon ahead are the cars we were fighting for before, and looks like they were able to pit beforehand and jump us. So we're trying to push as much as we can. We're good on fuel as we jump to the last lap here. Haven't caught the pack, but some of them have pitted in front, so we're trying to catch this pack ahead. We're pushing as much as we can to gain as many positions as we can. As you can see on the bottom right, the losing iRating here in the top split, 20th position is not going to do us any good with iRating. So we're trying to push as much as we can to see if we can get any more positions. The Mustang ahead goes wide, which opens up the door for the Ferrari. They bang doors a little bit. We are just in the slipstream range, so we're going to have a nice little factor of slipstream down the back straight here as we go into turn 5. The Ferrari and Mustang go side by side. It looks like the Mustang's going to try and keep it around the outside. They're going to go side by side into the next couple of turns. Ferrari thinks better of it, as it was almost pushed out into turn 7 here, going up to turn 8. Mustang goes defensive. Ferrari kind of looks in ahead of it, but thinks better to not cause a wreck. So it looks like it's going to still be defensive driving, which is fine, but looks like we're not going to gain any positions, which is okay. We had a decent enough race, stay clean, as we come to the end of lap 27 to finish out this race in P20th. But hold your horses, the Ferrari has run out of gas. He tries to cut us off to block it, but we get P19. Still not going to do us any favors with the iRating, but better than what we expected for the top split. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks. Have a good one.